Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we are going to be working on a background with some gold cubes. So I'm going to go ahead and take this default cube right here, just with S. Just elongate this just slightly, we're going to need to do that. Let's go ahead with materials. We'll change this to a metallic. Go ahead and up the anisotropy. I'm probably going to pronounce that really wrong. And you want to go ahead and change your render engine to cycles. So we'll go back to the materials right here. Alright, so this is the anisotropy. Probably just butchered that. But essentially it gives it this nice little sheen. And then we have the rotation as well of where that goes. And then you can have the roughness. Up, down, whatever you'd like. Alright, so once we got something like this, let's go ahead and change this to a nice little gold or a brass. Whatever you'd like to use. And then I'm just going to go ahead and move this to the side, and you'll notice that the pattern kind of reacts to the environment as well. Okay, so let's go 7-7. I'm going to go with Shift D. Let's move this up. Maybe have this one square away from each other. Shift D again. Make sure it's one square away. Or roughly. And then go ahead and just select these. Shift D. Move these up one square away. For that one. Select all of these. Shift D. One square away again. G. Move this down. And then we'll go across to the side as well. And then G, move this across. Then we're going to go Shift D. And just essentially you're just making a grid. That's all you're doing really. Shift D. Okie dokie, so with all of this being a square away, let's go once more this way, Shift D, and then we'll go once more up again. So G, there we go, Shift D, and then once more up, so get this just about here. Alright, so once you've got something like this, let's go ahead and view the camera, or at least get the camera to a view that we can kind of use. So we'll go view, align view, and camera to view. Just about to here. Alright, so we need to make another 2 rows just at the bottom. And so I will select these, so let's go 7. And then Shift D, and then move this across. That should be okay. Okay, so once you've got something like this, it should turn out like this, where you've got all these nice little silver bits and silver pieces. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the lighting on this and make my own. So let's go with the lighting, which should be about here. Delete. I'm going to go ahead and add in a plane. S for scale, all the way across, and then we're going to go with G, move this across, and we'll change this to new. Instead of principal BSDF, change this to emission. Now that one light will now spread the light across the entirety of our creation rather than just one point. So we now have this kind of nice little light above. I'm going to go ahead, I'll take this light and we'll go Shift D, move this across. Could be completely random. Totally up to you what you want to do with that. Okay, next bit that we need to do is let's go ahead and raise some of these cubes. So we'll go with 7-7. The camera's right here. And then we've got all of our little lightings at the top. So if you want to see past that, you just need the X-ray mode. So you can see past that. Alright, Let's go ahead and select some cubes. So let's go ahead and select this one, this one, this one, this one. You just want to go randomly in here. Okay, and then G to move them up. Go ahead and select some more random ones. You can select some groups if you want to. Press G, bring these up. Just a little bit higher. And then we're going to go ahead and do more at the back. And just press G and bring these down. So you got these little holes coming through. And then we'll go ahead and raise some more of these. So just randomly once more. You can click ones that you've already done if you want to. Kind of just randomizes everything a bit more. So G, bring those up. And then we'll just go ahead and take some of these around the outside. G, bring them up. Alright, so you're going to want a depth of field with this, so press the camera, or at least select the camera. You want to go with data at the side, check depth of field, pick a cube, any cube, and then the lower the f-stop, the more blurred it will be on the outside, and the higher the f-stop, the less blurred it will be. So, totally up to you what you want to do. And when all is said and done, this will be our little piece. Now, I don't agree with this lighting, so I'm going to select the lighting that we have right here, which is the emission that we made above the piece, and I'm just going to go ahead and tone this down just ever so slightly, or you can go ahead and change the colour if you want to. Totally up to you. Something that matches the scene a little bit better. And then maybe we'll take this cube right here. I'm going to go ahead and amend the tones actually. Kind of have a little bit more brass. You could up the roughness if you wanted to. Totally up to you. I would say at this point just experiment with what you're doing. Yeah, I think that's okay. Okay, so as well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to amend the depth of field and just pull it upwards a little bit, maybe to a 0.2 or 3. Just to get some more of that detail in there. Yeah, I think that's like pretty cool. You can put some extra lighting on the outside if you want to, just to kind of pull some of those details out. Totally up to you. And what I would suggest as well, it's looking a little bit flat, so I'm just going to go ahead and just amend some of this. Take some of these. Press G, bring these up. Yeah. Okay, the ones that don't really have that much, so let's go with G, bring these down. I think that looks so much better. There's a lot of randomization in there instead of just grid. So yeah, I would say play around with it, see what you can do. Yeah, that'd be the tutorial for today. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye. Alright, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're making a desktop background with some lights, some orbs and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead, change my render engine to cycles. I'm going to go ahead and delete the default cube, and let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and go 7 to heaven right here. Let's go with add objects, and we will go with a, let's say you want to have a UV sphere right here. So let's go S for scale. I'm going to place this one directly in the middle. We will delete this one after we start moving everything around. I'm going to delete the lights here, and I'm going to delete the camera just for the moment. Right, so let's go ahead and take this orb in the middle. Let's go with Shift D. And I'm going to move it to the first position right here on the grid. I'm just going to go ahead and scale this down. This one is going to be shaded smooth, so right click shade smooth. Let's go for materials tab, new. This one is going to be emission, so I'm just going to call it EMI. And then I'm going to do this yellow. So emission yellow. We will change principal BSDF to emission and then change this one to kind of like a nice little gold yellow kind of thing. So when we render this, we should just have this nice little emission coming through just about here. Alright, so you can amend this at any time. I'm going to go ahead and let's go with Shift D, duplicate this, and you want to go halfway through. I'm going to remove the material on here, so we'll press X on material, new material. This will be silver. So we'll change this. You can put this in a metallic or you can do this via principal BSDF. So let's go metallic BSDF and we'll change this to a nice little silver, turn down the roughness. Pretty cool. Okay, so the next one that we're going to do is let's go with Shift D. We'll move this to the next grid up, so we'll go with G right up to the top right here. S for scale, make this just a little bit bigger. Not too much though. And we're going to go with, we'll duplicate swimming neck, this material, and we'll call this the gold. Let's go ahead and change this to this nice little kind of off bronze. Just about there. We'll turn up, you can do the anastrophe, if I can pronounce that right, Fluminek. Alright, so let's go and see what these look like currently. So we just have something like this. If we add in a plane underneath, we can kind of see what's going on. So S for scale, add that plane. So we have this emission right here. What I'm going to do is let's go ahead and go to the regular render. I'm going to take the silver ball that we've just made right here. You're going to want the X-ray mode so that you can see the grid. And then just go Shift D and duplicate this upwards on here. So now we have these little silver balls. We have an emission, we have another silver ball. And what I'm going to do is let's go and take that emission right there and place one on the outside. So this emission here, let's go with Shift D. Move this up to the next grid. Up at the top right there. S for scale, just scale this outwards just a little bit so it's nice and big. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this one, which is another silver. Let's go with, yeah, let's go with silver. Shift D and move this upwards to here. So essentially now you have this nice little row of stuff that you can work with. I'm going to go ahead and take this row. We'll go with Shift D and move this up to the top right there. You want to go halfway as such, and then I'm going to go ahead and just randomly go with another Shift D. So you should have something that is similar to this with all these points going up. Now this little sphere in the middle, there was a reason why I did that. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and select everything that we've just made apart from the sphere. Shift D, duplicate this out. Let's go with alpha rotate. Oops. On the z-axis. So alpha rotate, and we'll go with 180. We'll go with G, bring this down. And you want to be able to match this to this one. So we had this one halfway. This one should be halfway as well. As such. Alright, delete the centerpiece right there. And this is going to be a little bit difficult to see, but just kind of bear with me. So we have this huge line of what we're doing right here. Let's go with Shift D, click, alpha rotate. This will automatically go on the y-axis. Let's go 90 degrees, so we get sideways. Select everything by box, so just hold down and click. Let's go alpha rotate, and this will be 45. And then we're going to go ahead and divide that 45 by 2. So this should be 22.5. So go ahead and select everything again that you've just made. Oops. That's weird. I don't think my computer kind of copied that. So let's go Shift D again once more. Alpha rotate at 45, weren't we? And then select everything again. We want to go Shift D, click, alpha rotate, and we were at 22.5. And then we're going to go ahead once more. So the 22.5 divided by the 2 is 11.25. Select everything, Shift D, click, rotate, and we are 1125 as such. And then if we divide the 1125, we are 5.6. Select everything again, Shift D, click, R for rotate, and we want to type in that 5.6 just as such. Alright, we could go maybe one more, but to be honest with you, these are very tight around the middle right there. I'm thinking maybe we should get rid of every... Let's see, if I go scale with this, I think it should be alright for the centerpiece, to be honest with you. We can always get rid of them if it's going to be a problem. Alright, so what I'm going to do is let's go for adding the camera in. Where have I put my cameras? There they are. Alright, let's go view. Align view, camera to view. Let's go ahead and rotate this round. It's kind of at an odd angle. And then you can go ahead and just put this to the side. We again want kind of a side kind of view with this. So you kind of an angle coming down. So when you render this, you should have something of a kin. So it's the camera that's at the angle and not the piece. So once you've got something like this, we can go ahead and add like a little background in. So we could go with shading tab. You want to go and change objects to world objects. Don't forget to change this back to object once you're done. We're going to go ahead with add, and we'll go noise texture. We'll place this noise texture in the back right here. On the render, you should have something like this. So go ahead and scale this down. We're going to make some stars. I'll scale this up so that it goes down. We'll go to add. We'll go color ramp. Place this in the middle right here. And you want to go ahead and move the black across so that you essentially have some stars in the back. Some little sprinkles. Go ahead and change your world settings to object. We'll go back to the layout. This is the kind of thing that we should have. It's almost like a nice little galaxy piece. To bring this metallic out a little bit more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my own lighting to the back. So let's go ahead and add... Oh, this should be above. Hold on. Let's go to the side real quick on this. Come on. There we go. Alright. Let's go to add. We'll go with plane. S for scale to elongate it, and then S for scale just to bring that in a little bit more. We're going to go with material new. Change principal BSDF to an emission. And we're going to go with G and bring this up. You want to bring this past the camera so that it's not seen within the camera lens. And now what we should have, as long as we've got this powerful enough, is a little bit of a shine on the metallic pieces. If it doesn't shine on the metallic pieces, add more of these strips. So we can go Shift D, move this up. And then we can go with, oops, don't press caps. Shift D, move this up as well. So you can kind of see the shine coming round upon those metal pieces. I'm going to go ahead and strengthen the emission as well. Just bring that up a little bit, see what happens. So we can see that there's a nice little pattern going on. Let's go to regular render a moment. I'm going to go ahead and add in a depth of field. So let's go to the material preview right here. Let's click the camera. And let's go to the data section. Check the depth of field. Use the selector and just select one of these little pieces that you've got in the middle, one of the little orbs. Now, the higher the f-stop, everything's going to be in focus. The lower the f-stop, things will start to become out of focus. And the ratio as well, you can kind of pull that and it will do this really kind of unique effect with the backdrop. So you could have something like this, and then when we render it, it's like this kind of unique kind of thing. Now, me personally, I would move this light out of the way. It is clipping into the scene right here, but this is kind of a really cool thing that you can do with Blender. So I'm just going to go ahead and just mosey this on down so it's off the screen. Let's see how that works. Yeah, so obviously you've got to ignore the grid up here at the back and stuff, so this will just be kind of free floating. But yeah, it's kind of like a really cool effects to have with Blender. There's so many motorbikes coming by today, it's unreal. You can go with material right here and change the colours if you want to, so you could have it like this nice little pink, this nice little blue, turquoise. I love turquoise, it's nice. You could have orange if you wanted to. Totally up to you. Obviously, it's all pixelized at the moment because it's just still rendering in. But yeah, I would say experiment with. Let's get that camera again. Can we get the camera? Come on, you gonna let me? There we go. Alright, so I would experiment with the aperture right here, the f-stop, where everything's blurring, and then I would experiment with the ratio as well. To see what you can make with this. To be honest with you, this looks pretty peachy with me. Yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this tutorial, please give us a like, give us a subscribe, and if you got this far, hi. Right, so I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okie dokie, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we are going to be doing a phone background. So what I'm going to do is just move the camera roughly around to this direction right here. So what I'm going to start with is change out this EV to cycles. I'm going to go ahead with view, align camera to view. Click the box around the outside right here because we're going to change the resolution to what we need. So depending on your phone, find out how many pixels you need, and in this resolution bit right here, we're going to go ahead and put this in. So I know mine are 1440 against the 3088 for the height. Alright, so once we got something like this, what I'm going to do is just going to split the atom right here so you guys can see what's going on this side from the camera view, and then I will go ahead and adjust this. So we're going to start off with the default cube, and all I need to do really is just make a grid of stuff. So I'm going to make a material to begin with, and we're going to call this silky for this material, and we're just basically going to make I would usually use the metallic, but to be honest with you, I'm going to do this by the way that I do it. So I'm just going to go ahead, change down that roughness right there, leave the IOR where it is, and let's go 7 to heaven. I'm going to go with Shift D, duplicate this out. You want to probably go about half a square, or maybe you could go a square if you wanted to, just away. So let's go Shift D again, square away, Shift D, 1 square away again, Shift D, and just go ahead and move this up. Now you're going to need this to fit the camera, so I'm going to go ahead and move this in 1 second. So we're going to go Shift D, put this across the back. Now you're going to need more at the back than you will at the front, I think, because obviously the camera is kind of like angling outwards. We're going to go with Shift D once more, put that a square away, just G, and the side right here. Let's select everything again, Shift D. You're going to want to go ahead and move these up towards the camera, and then we'll move them back. So let's go with G. It's roughly a square right there. I have like a little bit of damage to my screen, so I've got a line of pixels that are missing, so I'm kind of looking at that going like, is that the grid reference or is that the line of pixels I'm missing? So yeah, let's go with Shift D again. G, move this up. Alright, so once you've got something like this, we're just going to go ahead and move all these to the back. And then, of course, I've selected the light as well, so this is going to just duplicate. I'm going to get rid of that afterwards, just in case it affects the lighting, but I will keep it if it works. So, I'm going to go ahead, shift that back, roughly square away again. Alright, shift that back and roughly a square away. G, move this up. You just want to go all the way to the back essentially. So let's go again. G, move this across. And then if you have any gaps on this side, we can just go ahead and duplicate some stuff over. It's not a problem. So take out all of this, Shift D, move to the back. Hopefully your computer's keeping up with this. Just about there. I think eventually I'm going to stop because it's a little bit... It's just going into an infinity at the moment. So what I'm going to do is let's take the last row right here. I'm going to go ahead and scale this up. So there's kind of this nice little boundary going across, and then I'm just going to scale it like sideways. Because I think like if we go too far, it's a little bit too far, you know what I'm saying? So, let's go and render that. Okay, so we've got this nice little silver going on. We kind of want this nice little gold. So I'm just going to change these to gold. And I'm going to go with the world settings and let's change this to white. So we've got a little bit more of a reflection. And then I'm going to go ahead and take one of these cubes right here. 7. Take a cube. Any cube. Shift D. Click S for scale. You want to scale it across this way. I'm going to take this off render actually so it'll be easier for me to do. Alright, so S for scale, you want to scale it across this way and this way and this way as well. Let's go with G, bring this across, and then G, bring this over. G, bring this down. So you've got kind of like a nice little bit underneath. Alright, and then what we're going to do is add a UV sphere in here. So UV sphere, right click, shade smooth. We'll go to the materials tab, the drop down, and select silky. We'll go with G, bring this up. Now you can have this anywhere that you'd like. So I'm going to bring this toward the camera just a little bit. And then I'm going to shrink it down and kind of sit and fit it on the floor right there. So S for scale. And then G. Just sit that kind of there. And then once we render this, we should have this nice little grid pattern coming through and this nice little gold. But alternatively, we could continue this grid pattern right here and go backwards. I think we should duplicate this. So let's go. What I'm going to do is take the square underneath. Let's go with edit mode right here. Take the back face because it's going to be easier with the back face. So let's go ahead and select that. Let's go with G, bring this forward. I'm going to go ahead and grab everything right here. So I'm going to go X-ray mode to make sure that I grab everything. Let's go to object mode to begin with. So X-ray mode right there. Grab absolutely everything. Shift D. We're going to flip this around. So alpha rotates. We'll go 180. G, bring this back. Now you might have a small little seam just in the middle there, but that's okay. So just as. Kind of breaks up the pattern a little bit. You can go with G and bring this forward if you want to. Totally up to you. Come on. It's on the wrong one. There we go. Just gently bring those together. Alright, so nice little foam background just to kind of do some stuff with, I guess. And I'm going to go ahead and just close that gap right there at the back. So we have this one and this one. Let's go S for scale and scale them back. And then we'll go S for scale and just scale them across the entire piece. As such, it's a little bit messy, but you're not really going to see the back. So yeah, that kind of fills in the gaps just a little bit more. You can go with the world settings if you want to, and then just kind of like darken it or whatever. Totally up to you, but I think that it kind of works the way that the lighting is. Yeah. I mean, we could try like completely dark is like that, so yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Alright, yeah, so that's the tutorial for today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're looking at making a camo pattern, kind of like army style. So we're going to take the default cube right here. I'm going to go ahead and switch out from EV to cycles, and we'll go to shading tab right here. So we're going to use this default cube as our little dummy for this. What we're going to do, we need principal BSDF, the material outputs, and we shall add in a Veroni texture. You want color to base color, and you'll come up with something like this. Now, usually Manhattan is kind of a good one to do with this, but to be honest with you, I think it's a little bit too sharp. So you have other options here as well. Many of them that I can't pronounce, but yes, you have something like this as well. You can go ahead and kind of do some weird kind of tapestry kind of things with this one, or you've got this one which I call Chev. So you get like randomness and stuff. All the randomness when you put these down will all go to kind of like a square on pattern. So it depends on what you want, or at least what you're trying to find. So something like this would be great for some sort of army pattern, especially if you can get this to work in a certain way. I would say this is a little bit too formal, a little bit too pushed. So let's go with add noise texture, and we'll place this in the middle just a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna go with a little bit of roughness for this one. See how this works. Okay, so let's remove the noise texture. Let's go color to base color. Add the color ramp into the middle right here, plus we're just going to go ahead and add some greens in here. Maybe make this a darker green. Such. It depends whether you're doing camo or you're doing like kind of a forest kind of one. To what type of tones you want. So I would say for this one, this is more like woodland. Let's go with some yellows kind of thing. I mean, like, you know, I've just seen the patterns and stuff, so someone correct me if I'm wrong. Alright, so that's kind of like a forest one. We can go ahead and shift Control D with this just to duplicate this, so we could do like a sand one on here, like kind of you got some more browns in this one, so, and then some more yellows. So I guess it depends on the type of terrain that you want to make. Something akin to that, I guess. But yeah, that's a rough camo pattern. You can also do snow as well if you want to do snow. So we can duplicate this out, make a new material. Snow, generally, you're looking at blacks, greys, whites. Maybe something a bit lighter. About there. We could do the yellow right here. Oh my gosh, there's a fly. Ugh, it's a blue bottle. I've got the window open. Fecky move! What do you want with me, huh? Right. I'm gonna finish up this tutorial in a minute and go blooming get rid of that out the window. That's insane. Alright, so yeah, snow pattern, a little bit more kind of greyish. I would pull that black a little bit on the snow pattern though. Just as such. Yeah, so go and experiment, go figure stuff out, I guess. And there's your camos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Okie dokie, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today I'm going to be making a phone background or a phone home screen, whatever you want to call it. So to begin with, we're going to go with 7.7. We're going to want to align view to camera. We're going to take this box right here. This is our camera, and we're basically going to go to the output right here, and you want to type in your screen size via pixel. So if you don't know it, just go ahead and Google it. This one's for my one. I think we're just slightly off on that one. Oh, I didn't put 40, I put 20. Oopsie. I wonder why it looks weird. Okie dokie. Right, so once you've got something like this, we're going to delete the default cube. Let's go ahead and add in a plane. S for scale, bring this up. And then bring this up to the top as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change the environment texture, the world color to black. And then I'm going to change my EV out for cycles. Alright, so once we've got something like this, what we're going to do is let's go ahead to add. We'll go with cylinder. G to bring this up. Now, if you want some more size to a cylinder, let's go with add cylinder again, and I'll show you. So you're going to come up with this little box at the bottom right here, and you can see how many sides it's got. To add more sides, just go ahead and run that up a little bit. So we'll press G, we'll bring this up. I'm going to go ahead and squish this down just a little bit. And then I am going to go ahead and take this. Let's go to edit mode. Faces. E for extrude. S for scale, bring that in. Let's go about this much in. E for extrude. And then we'll kind of just come down to the bottom right here. Alright, so this band right here, we're going to have this as an emission. So Control Shift. And just select everything on the band right here. Alternatively, you can use the X-ray mode and side view, but this is fine. Alright, so we're going to go with material to begin with on this shape. Now, the first material that you put on here is going to be the majority. So I'm going to have this as a nice little black, a little bit metallic, and then I'm going to go ahead and place in another material right here. We're going to click assign, so it goes to this little ring that we've just selected. We're going to change this out from principal BSDF to emission. We'll go with red. And then what we're going to do is go and right click on this, shade it smooth. We'll go ahead and go to the shading tab real quick, and I'm going to make a very basic kind of material at the back here. So let's go add. Let's go noise texture. Color to roughness. You're going to want to keep that metallic down as well. And let's go with add bump texture. You're going to want to go colour to height, distance up, filter up, depending on how much you want to do. It's totally up to you. Let's go back to the layouts right here. And turn on this. So, what I'm going to need to do right here is, it's looking like a little bit greasy at the moment on here, so I need to view the camera. Let's see, cameras, active camera. I was going to put it to view then. Right, okay, so on the render right here, you can see it's almost looks like grease stains at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and scale this up. So we've got a little texture in the back. I'm going to go ahead and make this black as well. We're going to need to get rid of the default light. So let's go back to layout. And we'll get rid of that. And then take the little cylinder that we made originally and press G. And bring it down. So about here. Increase the emission strength. Hopefully we should have that on there. I clicked the sign. We're on cycles. Interesting. Right, okay, so let's take this. We'll go ahead. I mean, you could pull the metallic up if you wanted to, but to be honest with you, I think we should change the output here. So bump instead of roughness gold just to, let's try metallic. See what happens with that one. Hopefully this works. And then take this red and increase this. There we go. Now it's working. Alright, so we've got this nice little red coming out of the bottom of this circle right here. I'm going to go ahead, take this. We'll make these bigger, smaller, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go with, let's offset this. So let's go with G. Offset this to this side. I'm upside down. Oopsie. Let's go with Shift E. Oh, heck. Scale this up. You can have them as different sizes. It'll be cool. Let's go ahead and put this one in the corner there. Let's go ahead and take this one. Shift E. G. Up to the top here. S for scale. This, the size of this is just kind of throwing me off a little bit. I don't think I've got the right size. Alright, let's go with this one. Put this in the corner. Okie dokie, so let's take these. Half and rotate. Just rotate them in a little bit and then take this and pull that down there. Okay, so this is kind of like a really funky kind of background that you can do for a phone. It's nice little highlights. You can have some white text on there and stuff that'd really pop out. Let's see. So, I don't think that this is correct. So, resolution 44 should be 440. When it changes it. Come on, 440. There we go. That's my font size. Right, yeah, I thought that looks a little bit weird. So, yeah, if you guys are interested in that tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a funky little cube backdrop. I mean, like, we do a lot of backdrops, but sometimes it's like I would like to teach you how to do things or put shaders on there as well. So we're going to go ahead and change to cycles. We'll go ahead and shade the cube smooth, and if you also want to, you can go with let's see, I forgot what the name is for it. I think I do that a lot, by the way. I think just trying to look for what I need. Bevel. There we go. Alright, so we're going to bevel these. Let's go to the shading tab. I'm going to go ahead with Veroni. So let's add Veroni texture on here. We'll go colour to the roughness, just to get some little patterns going there. Let's go ahead and add bump. As such, we'll place this in here. We'll place colour to height, distance up, and filter up. So we get a little bit more bumpiness in there. We're going to go ahead with add, and we'll add colour ramp. So colour ramp comes right here. Colour to base colour, add, and we're going to go with a nice little gold. So we just kind of want something just about there. Go ahead and up the metallic. And what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and increase the detail on the Veroni right there so that we've got this nice little gold coming through. Okay, so once we got something like this, let's go ahead and go back to layout. We're going to go 7 to 7. We're going to go ahead and make a grid of cubes. So you can start off like this. They don't have to be perfect. Let's put these here. And then I'm just going to go ahead, copy these as such. Just in here. Alright, box selects everything, duplicate it over. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start with this cube. These two cubes, this one and this one. We're going to go with G, bring these up. Alright, so magic movie stuff, we're back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just put this onto render so you guys can see what's going on with this. And we're going to need a few lights, or at least a good light for this. Whoops. So let's press G with that, move that up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and increase the exposure for that particular light. That's pretty cool. Alright, so once we've got something like this, we can go ahead and kind of put the camera here somewhere. So do add plane, S for scale. A nice little nifty background. So let's go with view and align view, align camera to view. G, bring this back. Nice little desktop background. And then, because obviously we're missing all of this, we need to go to the lens under data where the camera is. And then go to the end and just pull that back as such. So now we have these nice little blocks. You can zoom into these, you can do whatever camera angle that you want to. We've got depth of field as well, so I'm just going to select a random cube and then I'm just going to pull the depth of field down a little bit. So that shadow kind of blurs and that background blurs a little bit. Alright, so if you guys like this tutorial, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we are going to be doing a foam background with some gold. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the default cube. Let's go ahead and switch EV to cycles. 7 to heaven right there. View, you align view to camera or camera to view, and then you need to type in your phone screen or computer screen, whatever like that, by pixel right here. So we have, that should have edited 144. This did this in the last one that I did. The pixels just wouldn't go in properly. That was really weird. Okay, we're going to add in a plane. S for scale, make sure it's scaled over the top of the camera right here. We're going to go to edit mode. Right click subdivide a good bunch of times, so much as your computer can handle. We're going to go to objects mode, right click shade smooth, and then we'll go to sculpt mode. Let's go with blobs. You can do whatever you want to do on here. So, you know, just kind of move the canvas as you would like it to be. You could go ahead and let's go and turn down that strength a little bit. Actually, let's turn on the size. And we'll just do some like little stripes coming through. Like this. You could do them like really large or really small, whatever you want to do. Oops, I kind of messed up. I messed that one up. Okay, so once we got something like this, we could use that. And what I'm going to do is change this material to gold. So you can use metallic if you want to. You can use Principal BSDF. We'll do metallic up the Annie. I'll call it Annie because I can't pronounce it. When it's rendered, should look something like this. Annie all the way up. You could add a little bit of roughness to that as well, just to kind of dispute that a little bit. And then let's change this to kind of like a nice silk gold. A bit brighter. And then we need the lighting on the sides. So if we just split the atom here. And we just take the lighting right here. We can go and up the exposure. Just a little bit. And then we can go and shift D. Just to get another light on the other side. But I'm going to change this one to a blue. So it kind of catches the light a little bit more. Or a purple. I'm going to change some of these stripes on here actually. I think we could Take the entire back right here and just press S and scale this down a little bit more. Alright, so once we've got something like that, let's go to the shading tab real quick. I'm going to go ahead and place on a Veroni texture. So textures, add texture, Veroni texture. You want colour to base colour, or you could have colour to roughness, totally up to you. Probably have something like this. Little patterns coming through. Kind of gives it that nice little tiger effect, really. And then let's go back to the layout. So now we kind of have this nice little tiger effect. I'm going to go ahead and just scale it up a little bit, actually. Layout. There we go. Alright, so it's pretty funky. Yeah, I think we should go back to sculpt mode. Just kind of do some more stuff with this. Just give it a little bit more detail. It's looking a bit bland. Let's come in here. Okay, yeah. It's not my cup of tea, but some people like gold and they like all this kind of shiny stuff. Yeah, that's the tutorial for today. If you like, please subscribe. I will see you on the next one when I can get my mouse over. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we are doing a foam background. So I'm going to go ahead and switch Eevee out to cycles, and I'm going to go ahead and amend the pixels for the image so it will fit my phone. So 144 0, and then we were 3088. Alright, so we're going to go to 77, delete the default cube, and also change out your render engine from Eevee to cycles if you haven't already. And we'll go ahead and add in a plane. S for scale. To scale this up, we want view, align camera to view. Make sure that the background covers this side of everything. We're going to go ahead and add in some UV spheres. Right click shade smooth. Now these UV spheres are going to sit on the surface of our plane. So what I want you to do is just arrange them in any random order. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of that one. I'm just going to go ahead and add in texture for this one. So we're going to have metallic up, roughness down. And then we'll make this kind of like a silver or something. Alright, so Shift D on this one. Let's go ahead and move these around. Shift D. G on that side. I'm just going to go ahead and select everything. And just move this. Don't select the background. Says she just did it again. But let's go with some oddballs on that side, some oddballs on that side. Alright, so once we've got something like this, let's go to the sculpt mode, view, and we want 7 to heaven. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to make little bumps around all of this. So I'm just going to go with, let's see, cameras, active camera. Right, okay, so large, sculpt mode kind of thing on the back. Sorry, sculpt mode is on the back, and then you want a large size for the brush. So all we're going to do is just kind of like go around the edges right here. Although it doesn't seem to be working, which is weird. Let's see. The blob. Is blob working? Sorry, 1 second. Blooming heck, I've not even subdivided it. I've had a long day today. Right, go ahead onto the edit mode, subdivide. Oh my goodness, right, and then go back to object mode, shade smooth, and then we'll go to sculpt mode, and we can do the view from the camera. My gosh. Right. So now we're just going to add some little bumps around the edge here. Just under every single one of them. So we've got something like this. Alright, so when we render this, we should have these little marbles on the back right here. What I'm going to do is let's get some lighting in here, and let's also get some texture on the back there. So let's split the atom right here. It's not working. Come on. There we go. Alright, so add. We'll go with plane. G to bring this up. S to scale this across, and bring that down as such. These can be as big or as small as you want. You need them past the camera at the back, so bring them up. These are going to be emissions, so change them from principal BSDF to emission. And when we render this, we can now see that this is present. So I don't think this is long enough, so let's go with S for scale. And what I'm going to do is let's turn up the emission ever so slightly. Get rid of the original default light. And let's go with regular view just for a moment. I'm going to go ahead, duplicate these lights just across randomly. And what we should have in the end is nice little marbles kind of coming through. I think we're gonna up the transmission a little bit just there, so you can kind of. So when we're in shading, let's go ahead and put the roughness up just a little bit. We'll go ahead and add a bump texture in here. So add and a bump. Let's go to do noise texture. I want height. Put that bump texture onto the roughness. Distance up. Filter width up. We'll go ahead with this noise texture again. Shift D. It shouldn't have appeared there, but let's backtrack that a minute. Alright, so for some reason it's gone straight into there. I think my computer's playing catch up. Let's give it a minute. Alright, this one. Shift D. There we go. Alright. So let's go with add. Color ramp. That in there. You have almost like a black and white behind if you want to. And let's go back to layout. It's kind of a mess, I'll be honest with you. But we could change. Let's go with the emission. Right here. Change this to kind of like a purple or something. And then just turn it down just ever so slightly. And I think at that point what we need is add. We'll go light, point. I know we just got rid of one. Let's press G, bring this up. Gonna maybe do so we've got purple kind of thing, we'll do green or something. Add the emission up. So you can kind of see the shadows and stuff. Or maybe we'll do like a red. Kind of coming in at that side, and then we'll go ahead and do Shift D. Move down, G. Oops. G go across, come on. And then we'll put a blue in or something like that. So let's view the camera, what the camera can see. And then these marbles, what I might do is I might just put the roughness down a little bit, or up. So we can kind of see what's going on, but it's not quite as sharp. Yeah, I think that kind of looks cool. It's a little bit retro. Yeah. So if you guys like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make some effects with a cube. So let's go ahead and go to the render tab. We'll switch out EV to cycles, and then I'm going to go with shading right here. We can go ahead and we can have the principal be SDF, but what I would say is maybe change this to volume just for the moment. And I'm going to go ahead and add in a texture. You can go ahead and add a Veroni texture if you want to, and you can go color to base color. So essentially with this, let's go ahead and change the BSBSDF to surface again, and then we'll change this to IOR. So if you go ahead and take down the roughness, you can kind of make this glass kind of look. Let's switch out EV cycles on the render engine, and we'll just render this for the moment so we can kind of get this like frosted glass. You can go ahead and alter the randomness on this just as such, kind of gives it this nice little cube look, and then you can kind of take down the roughness as well. You can improve the metallic, that'll give you kind of like a mirror. If we add the plane in the background, so as for scale, you can kind of see how this works. So it's kind of like a mirrored kind of cube kind of deal. With a little bit of see-through kind of glass. So it's almost like a one-way glass in a way. So, yeah, that's the tutorial for today, and I guess I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making a mirror. So we'll go ahead to the render engine to begin with and switch out the EV to cycles, and then I'm going to delete this default cube right here. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and add in a cylinder. You'll notice the cylinder's got a lot of faces around the outside. We want to smooth that off a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and mosey myself on over here because we're going to need this box that is underneath me. So let's go ahead and go to the top of the box right here, which is your vertices. Just go ahead and knock the vertices up to the desired amount until it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to go ahead and place myself back here. There we go. Alright, so once we got something like this, let's go S for scale and scale this down on the Z-axis. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to edit mode. Take this top face right here. We will go for E for extrude. Bring this up just slightly. And you want to make a slight bevel on the side. So let's go with S for scale. Just move this inwards just ever so slightly. E for extrude again. And then we'll go inwards just ever so slightly again. E for extrude, click, leave it where it is. S for scale, bring this in, and then we'll do E for extrude, go down, inwards, using the Z-axis. S for scale, bring this in just ever so slightly, E for extrude, and bring this all the way down. Now you don't want it to go out the back, but you want it just above the back. So let's go with objects mode again. We'll go ahead and add in a circle. So with this, you can see that this is on the outside just currently. We can go S for scale and bring this in. You're going to want to sit this just on the outside. Now, you can go ahead and edit the vertices if you want to, but I'm going to go ahead and place mine in the middle. So if we go to edit mode, we'll press F for fill. We can go to objects mode, G, bring this up into more of the middle. Let's go to materials, new. And you want to essentially, you can change this out for metallic if you wanted to, but you can do everything on here. So let's go ahead and move the metallic up, the roughness down, so this will create a mirror inside. And what I'm going to do is right click on the first cylinder that we made and just go ahead and shade that smooth. So now this is a mirror. we're going to go ahead and add in a icosphere just real quick. S for scale, bring this down. I usually do this just to present, also that at least you can see the mirror reflection. So I'm just going to put this as green so it can be seen. Alright, so just bring this up a little bit. We're going to go 7:7. You'll see that we've got this on the top. You can go ahead and press G. Just move this to the side because we're going to be working on the outside of the mirror. So we're going to go ahead and make a almost gold kind of texture right here. You can go into metallics and do this if you want to, or you can go ahead and just do it the way that I'm doing it. We'll take down that roughness. And what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and add in a cube. S for scale to bring this down. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to go with G. Bring this to the back right here. And let's go S for scale as well. Let's put this on normal mode. Let's go S for scale, bring this down to the edge. As such. And then I'm going to go with edit mode. Take the front face. S for scale. Bring this in. So it's like a sunshine kind of mirror. Let's go with object mode real quick. We'll go to 7:7. I'm going to go ahead and add on the gold to this one as well. So it should be gold, gold. Let's go with G, bring this up just ever so slightly. I'm going to go with Shift D, bring this down. We'll go ahead with rotate at 180. And just place this on the side right here. You're going to want the corners just to touch the edge right here, so just go ahead and move them to where they need to be. Go ahead and select both of those. Let's go with Shift D, click, leave it where it is. R for rotate, and then we'll go at 90 degrees. So then we will go ahead and select all four. We will go with Shift D, click, R for rotate, and then we're going to go with 45, just as such. Alright, so now we've got this nice little star mirror that we can work with. I'm going to go ahead and add in, let's see, we'll go with Torus. Right click, shade smooth. S for scale. I'm going to go ahead and place this on the side, just here. So we'll go with G, we'll bring this up. S for scale, bring this in. And we're just going to go ahead and do a series of rings on the outside. So let's go with G. Alright, so once we've got it roughly here, just touches the edge, let's go ahead and make that into the gold. And then we'll go ahead with 7:7 again. And I'm going to go with Shift D, bring this down. You're going to want the ring just to touch the inside, but nothing goes onto the mirror part of the piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some little mathematics here because I forgot the measurement that I need. 1 second. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start with 90 with the rotation. So go ahead and select both of those rings. Shift D, click, R for rotate, and 90. So they look pretty good. Let's go ahead and select all four. So we're going to go ahead, Shift D, click, R for rotate, and we'll go 45. And this is where I need my calculator, otherwise I'm going to do the wrong calculations. Let's go ahead and select everything that we've just made. And then we've got 45. So if we do the 45 divided by 2, we have 22.5. So let's go Shift D, click, R for rotate, and we will type in 22.5 as such. Go ahead and select all the rings again. And I think we could do one more half. Let's select all of these. Oops, don't select anything in the background. Alright, so let's go Shift D, click, and we're going to go divide by 2 at 11.25. So we're going to go alpha rotate 11.25. And then we've got the rings around the outside as such. So this is a little pretty cool mirror that we've got. If you guys haven't subscribed already, please do so. Subscribe button is flashing, hopefully. So this is our little mirror that we've got going on. I'm thinking maybe we could do some patterns on this. So let's go into the shading tab. And I'm going to go ahead. Usually I would do noise textures, but to be honest with you, I think this one deserves a magic texture. So we'll go magic texture, color to metallic. And you can go ahead and make the depth real well. I'll just kind of pull the pattern in a little bit more. Add that little distortion on there so it's got that nice little pattern. You see that? So this will add a pattern to absolutely everything in various degrees depending on how big the piece is. So let's go ahead and add a bump in here. Want to go color to height, distance upwards, and then your filter width upwards as well, just to give it that nice little bump. Nice little texture. So once you've got something like this, we could go ahead and drop the roughness. It's kind of like a nice little shiny mirror. Or you could have the roughness up if you wanted to. So you could kind of see the pattern a little bit better, but I think it's a little bit dull like that. So we'll take down the shine. Sorry, we'll put the shine up even. Right, okay, so once we've got something like this, let's go ahead and select it. We'll go for rotate at 90. So that it's upright. Let's go with G, bring this up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and make like a little wall right here. And then obviously we've got our little icosphere. So that we can see the reflection in this. So let's go with add plane, rotate at 90. G, bring this up. S for scale. And then we'll just go ahead and knock this back. So that we can see the mirror. And I'm going to go ahead and make that grey, kind of like a grey tone. Let's see now. Alright, so once we hopefully render this, we can now see the light, the reflection right there. We do need a light, definitely need a light. So let's go ahead and take this default light right here. Just brighten it up a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and add an additional one to the opposite side. It's a little bit too bright. It's fine though, we can turn it down. Alright, so we can now see that we've got this nice little mirror going on. Nice little prop piece for a background. If you wanted scratches and dirt on the mirror as well, we could go with shading. You're going to need the noise texture and a Veroni. So let's go with add Veroni texture. Something like this. So we could go with metallic. Kind of gives it this nice little kind of off sheen. You could put this into the roughness, or you could go ahead and put this into the IOR. Excuse me. So you've got scale as well. This will kind of give you a little bit of scratch work and stuff. So you've got alpha that you could put this into. So you see how that changes. So you can kind of give it a little bit of scratch, little imperfection or whatever like that. Just on the outside of the mirror. And also we can do that noise texture. So let's see. Noise texture right here. Oh. I mean, yeah, you could put noise texture in between if you wanted to, but I think that looks pretty cool actually with the noise texture in between. So you kind of got that scratch and stuff. I was going to put the noise texture into the roughness, but kind of gives it some character. So I mean, like, just experiment, I guess. Yeah, I'd say that's a tutorial, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be working on a background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some hexagons to begin with. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this default cube. We'll go 7 to heaven. And what we'll do is go view to align view, align camera to view. Let's go ahead and add in a cylinder. Now I'm going to have to mosey on out of the way right here because I need to get this little box right here. So in this little box right here, we're going to have vertices. Let's go ahead and switch that down to 6 so that we've got something like this. And then we're going to go ahead, press R for rotate, and we will go at 90 degrees. Alright, so once we've got something like this, I'm just going to mosey myself on back over here. Let's go ahead and start making this background. So we're going to go S for scale to bring this down. I'm going to go with Shift D to bring this up. And then we'll go with Shift D again to bring this up right here. You probably want to go 7 to heaven again, just to make sure that you've got the exact same gaps between these. So we'll go with these 3 to begin with. Let's select all 3. Shift D. Go ahead and move that down. We'll go ahead and select all of these 6. Shift D, move this across, and what we want to do is just press G to bring these up into the middle just like this. Shift D, and you can bring these up to the middle. You're going to want to go ahead and select everything so we can kind of duplicate this as well, powering the camera. So Shift D, you can go ahead and move this across, but to be honest with you, let's not select this side just for the moment because it's not going to match up. So Shift D, move this across. Should be able to match it there. And then we'll do Shift D, move this across just there. And essentially you just want to make a pattern with this as you're going through. So once we've got something like this, we can go with view with the camera, active camera. We can grab this right here, we can say G, move this across to this side, and you can have something like this, you know, just where it's in the middle. We can press G and bring this back just ever so slightly. Alright, so let's go ahead and add in a plane. S for scale, bring this outwards, and you just want to go ahead and cover the camera as such. So now this is going to be a gold, so we're going to go ahead and change this to kind of like nice little gold. Let's say just about there. We'll turn up the metallic and we'll turn down the roughness. And then these pieces in the middle are just going to be white. So when we render this, we should have something like this. If you haven't already changed from EV to cycles. And what we're going to do is let's go into the shading tab right here. We're going to go ahead and add a noise. So add noise. The noise is going to go from colour into the roughness. I'm going to scale this up. Or you can do colour into metallic, totally up to you. Colour into metallic looks like this. It's a little bit shinier. And then what we're going to do from this point on, let's go to add. We'll turn down the roughness as well. Let's go to add, bump. In the middle right here. Go to colour to height. Go ahead and increase the distance. And go ahead and increase the filter as well. So what I'm going to do is go back to layout. And this is what we should have. I'm going to go ahead and add in some additional little honeycombs right here. Some little more hexagons. So let's go back to regular render. Just going to go ahead and select a row or 2 of these. Let's go Shift D. And then we'll move these across to the opposing side. As such. Shift D, and you could possibly put these here, but to be honest with you, they don't link up. So we'll select the second and third row. Shift D, move this across to there. Alright, so once we've got something like this, we can press G and move the camera in. Just press G and push the mouse forward. As such. Alright, so once we've got something like this, we should basically have this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and split the atom real quick here, because we need to bring that base upwards a little bit more. So, we'll go ahead and press G. Bring this up. So this is now in between. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lighting and I'm just going to put this into different colours and different styles. So we could go with a nice blue on this side. We could go ahead and we could duplicate this over. So let's take this one when it decides to load. Come on. I was going to turn this render off real quick. Alright, so let's take this one on the side, press G, bring this down, and we will have a red. So, you can use any tones and colours that you want to. This is what it will look like. And what I'm going to do is, let's take a few of these hexagons and kind of move them up in different positions. Let's go with, I'm just going to turn off the render real quick because this is going to use too much of the memory. Alright, so we can go ahead and we can change a few of these, and you can change different ones. You can just go ahead and randomly hold down shift, just randomly select them. And just press G and bring them up. And then you can go ahead and randomly select other ones. And you can press G and bring them down. And you can go past the base, it doesn't really matter. And then you can do this one again. Just random ones. And then press G and bring them up. Oops. Don't select the background. Just press G and just bring those up as is. So now we've got this nice little background going on. Kind of different tones, different colours. It's a nice way to just experiment with lighting and textures and stuff like that. I mean, this background, to be honest with you, I think we need to put the bump into the metallic. Sorry, the bump into the roughness. So let's go with shading real quick and change that roughness into there. Alternatively, we could try IOR, which may or may not work. Let's see the layout. You can have a nice little shiny kind of layout, and also what you could do is you could do little strip lights across the top to give it a bit more depth. So we could go with a little plane, change out the principal BSDF to the emission. S for scale, bring this across. S for scale, bring this down. You can press G, bring this up. Bring it up past the camera. And when we render this, we'll see that we have like a little strip light at the back there. So you want to make sure this is long enough. And then we can go ahead. If I just reduce that real quick. Shift D. And then just kind of add a few of these just randomly. Just to give it a little bit more texture. I think that looks pretty cool. And then we can take all of these and we could go with Shift D. Move this across, Shift D, move this across. So now you've kind of got this nice little honeycomb look. You could go ahead and change the lighting to a different tone. It's like kind of an orange, and then reduce it just a little bit more. So you've got that nice orange coming through, but then you've got these blue and red kind of coming through on the other sides as well. It's totally up to you, but I kind of like that background, that's nice. Alright, so I guess that's the tutorial for today. If you like the tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Welcome to Blender. So today we're going to be making a tree and some sunshine. So we're going to go to the render tab to begin with and switch out from Eevee to cycles. I'm going to go ahead and delete the default cube and we'll add in a plane. S for scale, bring that out. And we'll go ahead to add. Generally, when you're looking for trees and stuff, you're going to have to go into edit, preferences, and then it's add-ons, and it should be a tree in there. So yes, I think mine downloaded it at some point, but okay, you know what, I'm going to go into the preferences, so I'll walk you through it. So we'll go to preferences, edit preferences. Then you've got the add-ons, you've got extensions. We'll try for tree in extension. So you're gonna want sample tree gen. When you find it, click install. And then hopefully, when you click update all, we should have in the add section and curves sample tree gen. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and move myself out of the way because I need this box at the bottom right here. So this is the sample tree gen box, as you can see over here. So essentially what we're looking at is we've got the geometry, we've got leaf branching, branch splitting, leaves, amateur, all that kind of stuff. I would definitely say to show leaves, so you want to check the box for show leaves when my computer decides to catch up. Come on. Just give it a few seconds if your PC is taking a while. I think I've got too many tabs open on my PC. Like, I have so many editing tabs open right now, it's unreal. Come on. There we go, there's our leaves. Alright, so if we go back to geometry, we can also do load present, and you'll be presented with a whole load of different trees and a whole load of different things. You will have to click your leaves back on if you do change it. So we have the Japanese maple right here. We can go ahead with branch splitting, and you know, you could just go ahead and experiment with this a little bit. So let's go ahead and move that up. Yeah, so you got like split angle, stuff like that. So this will move everything down, and then you can just move everything back up to the appropriate point that you need it to be at. So Japanese maples tend to kind of weep a little bit. They kind of just like, they sit, and they just kind of, they're quite a relaxed tree, as I've seen. So maybe we could just pull those outwards just a little bit more. Have a branch kind of coming down. You've also got levels where you can change some of the settings with this. So this might take a couple of seconds just for the computer to figure out the calculations. Don't worry about it, just kind of wait. That should be great. For some reason, these newer versions of Blender have kind of just absolutely decimated my RAM, so I don't know what's going on. I think I need some more RAM. I've got like 100 as it blooming heck, get my words out as it is. So yeah, it's kind of an awkward one. Alright, so yeah, you want split height. You've got split heights here as well. That will change the height of the tree, and you've also got curve resolution as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the tree alone because my computer's kind of struggling at the minute, and I will go ahead and add in all the textures and just basically show you how to do sunlight and all that kind of funky stuff. So currently we're not responding, apparently. Come on. Right. So let's go ahead and click on the main tree right here. We are going to go to textures and new. We'll make this kind of like a brown texture. And then we're going to go ahead with the leaves at the top, and we'll make these kind of like a pink, kind of red kind of texture. So when we come out of this, we should now have this nice little pink kind of tree. The light currently is sat residing here, so I'm just going to press G and bring this across, and then we'll go upwards just slightly as well. Now this isn't a sun at the moment, but we can change the light into a sun, and you'll notice how blown out that is. So we're going to go ahead and just lower that exposure quite nicely. We'll go ahead and lower the strength as well, just ever so slightly as well. Let's go ahead with a nice little yellow. And then I'm going to go to the world settings and just place the sky as blue. So it kind of looks a little bit more summery. So this is what we can have. The light itself, I'm going to go back to that light. Let's increase that strength just a little bit, just to pull some of that light in. Just a little increase. Then we'll come back down to the materials tab and we'll make this green at the bottom. Now you can go ahead and add hair to this if you wanted to make grass. So we can go into the particle system, press plus, and switch to hair. And then just go ahead and lower the hair length to your desire. And then we'll go ahead and add a couple of extra zeros to the number at the top so that we have grass. You can go to the modifier and then that will be green-ish. So you now have this nice little kind of basic tree, nice little basic grass. The grass, to be honest with you, I don't like it. Because look at how it is. It's like coney. That's not how grass should look. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to mosey myself on over actually. I think I'm in the way. Hopefully I wasn't in the way just then. So we'll go ahead with the particle system again. Go to hair shape, the diameter roots. Go ahead and take that down. So now we've got nice little points coming up. I should have. There we go. Let's go ahead and just heighten that root diameter just a little bit. So now we've got these nice little bits of grass. And then we can add an additional 0 onto the end of this if you wanted to. Just to kind of fill that plane in a little bit more. As such. So, yeah, this is basic tree, basic lighting, basic grass. Hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we are making a chandelier. I'm going to go ahead and switch out EV to cycles, and we're going to be using some of the render tab today, but not fully. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll start off with the default cube right here. Let's go with S for scale. For some reason my screencast keys weren't working. Okay, so yeah, we'll go ahead with S for scale, just scale this up as such. And then we're going to go ahead with edit mode, take this front face right here, and we will go E for extrude and S for scale just to bring this in. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same to the opposite side, just bring that in, just as such. Alright, so we can actually get this pretty even, to be honest with you, if we just backtrack a little bit. So if we go ahead and select both sides as is, E for extrude, leave it where it is, S for scale, and you'll notice that these actually pull inwards. So we're going to go with S for scale to go outwards. So these are nice and neat. So the next thing that we can do here, let's go back to the object mode. I'm going to go with S for scale just to kind of plump or push this in just a little bit more. Let's go to the materials tab, switch out the principal BSDF for glass BSDF, and turn down the roughness. Now the next thing that we need to do is go ahead and add, you can go ahead and add in a cylinder if you want to, or you can try a circle. It's totally up to you. I'm going to go with cylinders. So we'll go ahead with a cylinder right here. And if you want to, you can resize this. You can do whatever you'd like, really. I'm going to go ahead and re-add that because if we go with cylinder right here, we'll notice there's a lot of faces around the outside. If I just go ahead and mosey myself on over, we can adjust the vertices here to make a few more faces that will accompany the chandelier design. Alright, so once we've got something like this, let's go with S for scale. I'm going to go ahead with edit mode, take the top face and the bottom face. Let's go for delete. You want to delete the faces. And we're going to go ahead and select everything. S for scale, just to make this a nice little ring. And then we'll go E for extrude. Leave it where it is, click, and S for scale just to bring it in. So this is going to be a nice little gold loop for the glass pieces. Right click shade smooth. We'll go ahead and move the glass piece to the side just for the moment. Let's go ahead and make this gold. So let's go with new, and we will go ahead and try and find something that's just a nice sweet spot between orange and yellow. Just about here. We'll turn up the metallic and the roughness down to about 0.03. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some lights on the outside. So we'll go ahead with add. You can use icospheres, UV spheres, totally up to you. S for scale, bring this down. Right click shade smooth. We'll go 7 to 7. G, bring this across. And you want to make sure this sits and fits essentially on the top rail of the chandelier. And maybe you could have one on the bottom if you wanted one on the bottom. Totally up to you. But I'm going to do mine on the top. Maybe, actually, you know what, I might do these on the bottom. Might look a little bit better for the drop down for the chandelier. Okay, so once we've got that, let's go 7 to heaven, and we'll go with X-ray mode since we're working underneath. Let's go with Shift D and move this to the side. You want to go ahead and click both of these, making sure that you don't click the actual ring itself. Let's go Shift D again. We'll do alpha rotate at 90 degrees. And then we're going to go ahead and select everything. Deselect the ring. Shift D. Click. Leave it where it is. Alpha rotate, and we will go 45. Just for this point. Now, obviously we need to put a material on these as well. So, with these bottom ones that we've just made right here, let's go with new. Material, we're going to call this ME. Now, we could have gone ahead and made the material first and stuff, but I forgot. So, we'll go ahead and click on these. It's good practice as well to change the materials. So, we're going to go with Principal BSDF, change this to an emission. You can have this any tone, any colour that you would like. I'll go with a nice little kind of peach. And then go down to the drop down, click ME for every single one that we've just made. As such. So we're going to go back into this. Let's go with ME. Oops, not that one. And then we'll go with ME on this one. Alright, so when we go 7 to 7, we select everything again and deselect the ring. I think we're at 45, so we should be, if I just work this out on my calculator. Where did I put it? I have my calculator open like 5 minutes ago. So, we had 45, and we want to divide that by 2, which is 22.5. So, if we go with Shift D, click, rotate, and then we'll go 22.5. Select everything again, deselect the ring. And then we're going to divide the 22.5 by 2, which comes to 11.25. So then we will go with Shift D, click, alpha rotate. Oops, alpha rotate. Let's try that again. Okay. There we go. Alpha rotate. 11.25. And now this is where the light is going to come in. And we can adjust that with the settings at the side. So, now, once we've got something like this, we've got this nice little gold ring and the lights around the outside, we now need to add in our little droplets, so to speak, the crystals. So, S for scale, bring this down. We're going to go ahead with 7 to 7. G, you want to place these on the outside. You can go ahead and pull these up, pull these down, whatever you need. So, if you want to go ahead and make them a little bit longer, you can do. Make them a little bit thinner, you can do. Just as such. Let's go with G. Make sure that sits and fits on the outside. So if you go 7 to 7, you'll be able to see it there. Let's go with Shift D. Move this across to the opposing side. And because they're the same on each side, they should fit essentially like a glove. So let's go with Shift D. Click. Alpha rotate at 90. Go ahead and select all 4 of them, and we will go ahead with Shift D, click, alpha rotate 45. Go ahead and select them all again. We will go with Shift D, rotate, oops, click first. We'll go ahead and rotate those. Shift D, click, alpha rotate, and we were at, I can't remember what number we were at. I think we were at 22.5. Yes. Okay, so we have these ones now, and we have a tiny little gap between them all. And in theory, we could get another row of these going. So if we go Shift D, click, alpha rotate, and we should be at 11.25. Just about fits. Just about fits and sits. Alright, let's select everything and go with G and bring these up. You don't have to put the additional ones on if you don't want to, if it's a little bit too much. But that's how it should sit. Okie dokie, so we're going to take this and we're going to make this a bit bigger, but we want the ring at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything right here. Let's go with Shift D. We bring this up. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete all of the little gems at the bottom, and I'm going to make this ring slightly bigger. So let's go 7 to heaven. S for scale, bring this outwards. And then we'll take one of the droplets that we had before, or prior. I'm just going to press G and bring this up. Now we want to bring this up just about here. So then we'll bring the ring back down to meet this. So let's get the ring, let's press G, bring this down to roughly the same height, and we'll take this little glass piece right here and place it on the top. So we got 7 to heaven. So this is one of the top pieces. Oopsie, we're missing one there. Let's go ahead and Shift D that back into place as such. Alright, so let's go 7 to heaven again. G, just to bring this down a little bit there. We'll go ahead with Shift D, bring this across, and we're just going to do the exact same thing that we did last time and just rotate everything round. I'm just going to go ahead and just move this and make an adjustment. I don't think it's sat in the right place. Alright. So, take these two, Shift D, click, alpha rotate at 90. Let's go ahead with taking these two, Shift D, click, alpha rotate 45. Select these ones, Shift D, click, alpha rotate, and we were 45, it was 22.5. 22.5. Again, let's go ahead and select everything as such. Shift D, click, alpha rotate, and we are at 11.25. And I think that should be pretty good for the outside there. So now, if we go to and add a plane and just go to the render, we should be able to see what the chandelier is looking like. So you could have this 2-tier, 3-tier, whatever you wanted it to be. I think I'm going to go ahead and just pull up those lights just a little bit more, so there's more light coming in. So grab that one and then increase the emission. You can kind of see how that's going to work. I think we could do another tier on top of it. Alternatively, we could just leave it the way that it is. Let's go ahead and add in. I think we should get a pole in the middle of it, so it looks like it's supported by something. So we could do is cylinder, S for scale, bring this down. Change the material to gold so that it matches. Let's go with G, bring this up. S for scale, bring this up, scale it up. S for scale, bring this down. As such. Let's go with G, bring this up just slightly. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the same pole, Shift D, bring it down. Alpha rotate 90 degrees. We'll go ahead, scale this in. And then just scale it outwards a little bit so it's a nice little pole that sits and fits onto the rings. So you could go 7/5 for this. Let's go S for scale, G, and then bring this in as such. And just bring it up to where it needs to sit and fit. And then we could do the same with the top one. So we have that nice little ring going through. If you guys haven't subscribed already, please do me a favour, will you? You got this far. Alright, so you got the G there. Just sit and fit it as such. And I think that will be our chandelier. Our little golden chandelier. And I'm going to go ahead and place a roof on this. So let's go Shift D. Let's go ahead and bring that roof up. And then we can see how this light works for the chandelier. And then I'm going to go ahead and darken the background so you guys can see a little bit better. Or maybe lighten it. Something if I can. So yeah, that's the tutorial for today. If you guys enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today, I'm going to go ahead and teach you how to make an emission with checkers. I'm going to go ahead and delete the default cube right here, and I'm going to press G and bring the cube up. We'll go ahead and add in a plane, S for scale, and then I'm going to go ahead and place a cube against the plane. We'll go over to the shading tab, and if you haven't already, change your render engine from Eevee to Cycles. And I'm going to go ahead with the materials. I'm going to change the principal BSDF to an emission, and I'm going to go ahead and add in a texture, which will be the checkered texture. We will go with colour to colour. And now we will change this to black and white. And when we press the render, you'll notice that this turns into an emission. And if we improve the strength, we can see that the emission is a little bit more powerful. And that's how you do checkers with emissions. I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be doing some funky text with the use of shadows. So I'm going to go ahead and scale this down, and then S for scale to scale this up. So this is going to be our temporary wall. And what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and we'll add some text in here. So we'll go to add, and then we've got text at the top right here. I completely forgot to turn on the screencasting keys. Alright, so let's go with R for rotate to make sure this stands up straight, so 90 degrees, and R for rotate. Actually, you know what, we're going to need this going straight down, so let's go with Z right there. Alright, so let's go with data at the side, which should be the big green A. And we're going to go with geometry. Just offset that geometry just ever so slightly, and then I will go with extrude just on these little text right here. So once we've got something like this, we can go ahead and pick a font. Now usually you can't really see what my font's doing on the side, but you generally want a font that's quite bold, that can go on the side of a building that you would generally see. So I'm going to go with BN Machine Regular right here. So we've got something like this, and what we can do now is we need to make sure that this is going downwards. So you've got horizontal, and then you've got all these at the side right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mosey myself on over, because I'm kind of in the way, and stick myself in the way in the middle. It's kind of hard to put myself somewhere sometimes. Hold on, I'm trying to just... It won't allow me to shrink myself for some reason, so I'm going to be up here. Hi. You know, just like right there. Alright, so so you guys can see the settings. and I'm barely visible. We'll go ahead and we'll change some of this. Now, you've got different types of things here. So you've got center, you've got flush, you've got justify, all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to pull this out to the side right here. I'm going to go with the center just to begin with this, and let's go ahead and start adding this text. So if we have this one right here, generally you can do this downwards, but to be honest with you, if we do this individually, we can kind of make something. So I'm going to go with the T next to the wall right here. Press G, bring this across. And I'm going to go ahead and add in, let's go with a cube. Shrink this down. And shrink this down this way as well. We'll press G, we'll bring this up just slightly. So now we've got the T and we've got the background that's holding onto the wall right here. And let's see, we'll press G, we'll move this in. I'm going to put in a cylinder. Alpha rotate at 90 degrees, and you just essentially want to make some nice little poles that are holding onto the text. So I would suggest 2 poles really, holding onto the text in its entirety, so it kind of looks neat. So we could go something like that. Make them quite thin and long, as such, so that you can see the text. Let's go with Shift D, move this up. Alright, so we've got the T, we need the E, so let's go ahead and copy this. So we're going to have text, so we're going to need 4 of these. Right. Alright, so make the background a little bit wider. You can go ahead and select these, bring these up, so they sit and fit onto here. Maybe make it longer if you need to. And press G right there. Alright, so now we're going to take this E right here. Let's change this to an E. Sorry, take the T and change it to an E. Blooming out, get my words out today. And then we'll go ahead with an X as such. If your poles are kind of sticking out the side or in the middle right there, you could go ahead and just change that. So we can take these 2 poles. Just press G, bring these back as such. So now you have this nice little text coming through. So when we've got the lighting that comes onto this, you see the lighting's coming through right there, but I'll show you what we need it to look like. So we currently have the text like this, but this reads backwards. We need this reading forwards for the effect. So what we're going to do is take this, we'll go alpha rotate, and we'll go at 180. So now we have text on the wall. So it's completely backwards on the wall itself, but we can now see it over here. So this is kind of a neat little trick that you can do. It stands out quite a lot. I've seen this on some buildings in my area. And essentially, if you get this to lean at the correct angle for lighting, you can see what's going on right here. So this is great for hotel as well. So you could go ahead and say copy all of this, just get rid of that cube at the back. We could go see how the lighting changes there. So you're going to want the lights in a certain place. So we could go let's try that again. With G, bring this up. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this wall up. You can see how the lighting changes on this one as well. We could go ahead to the shading tab and add in a brick texture if you wanted that. So we could take the text, we could go add brick. Usually I would do the brick texture on the base color, but the IOR is like really cool for this. You have like a nice little texture in the back right there, kind of coming down, and then we could do with a bump kind of thing. Bump to height, and then just increase your distance and increase your filter. You can have something like that. And then the layout section right here, if I just go ahead and take down Let's go to materials, take down the metallic, so you want to up the roughness. You now have something like this. Or we could just give that kind of a little bit of a background right there. Alright, so it depends where the lighting is, for you to make this a bit clearer. As such, so you could have something like that and then give it some more power, so it defines it a little bit more. Totally up to you what you want to do with it. But yeah, nice little neat thing that you can do for the side of a building. So, if you guys like the tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we are going to be doing a checkerback phone background. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and delete the default cube. We'll go ahead and change from EV to cycles. I'm going to go ahead and add in a plane, so S for scale. We'll go to the shading tab right here, and we're going to go ahead and make a new material, add checker, texture, and then go with color to base color. We'll get this checker texture right here. Totally up to you which tones and which colors you would like for your background. We can go ahead and scale this up, scale this down. We're going to go 7 to heaven, and then we will go with view, align view, and then align view to camera right here. So this little box right here, if you can see, this is the camera. If you are making this for a computer screen, go ahead and place in your pixels for your computer screen right here, diagonal and downwards, sorry, across and downwards even. So with my phone, I'm going to go with 1440 and then 3088 for this one, and this will be the size of my phone screen. So if we go to layout, view, camera, active camera right here, and look at the lighting, we can see now that we have this nice little checkered pattern and nice little checkered texture. It is a little bit loud for me, I'll be honest with you. So I'm just going to go ahead and scale these down just a little bit more. Alright, so we'll go to layouts, and we have the light right here. I'm going to go ahead and click this, and you can go ahead and have any light in the background that you want to, depending on your preference. So we'll press G, and we'll move this across to the center once it decides to cooperate. There we go. Alright, I'm going to press G and bring this up as well. And maybe we could do, for the lighting, a spot just straight down. Go ahead and rotate that to where you need it. And then you can go S for scale as well if you want to, or G to bring it up just slightly, depending on what you want. So you could have something like this, and then put the time at the top of the phone. Let's see, I'm going to change this to a nice little blue. And there you have it. Nice little phone background, just kind of something basic that you can make in Blender. Just click the render in the top corner, or press F12, and that should render out for you. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Okie dokie, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be doing a phone background with some circles, just experimenting with lighting and texture. So what I'm going to do to begin with is, let's go ahead and delete this default cube right here. We'll go ahead and add in a plane. Also, if you haven't already, change out EV to cycles in the render engine just here at the side. So we're going to take this little plane right here. Let's go S for scale, scale this up. And we could also go ahead and elongate this just ever so slightly. We're going to go to the shading tab right here. Let's go with new. Let's just move this over to the side, and we will add in a texture, which will be the checkered texture. You want to go to color to base color. Now, depending on what you want on here, color wise, is totally up to you. So you could do absolutely anything. You've also got scale here as well, and I'll teach you how to kind of put this a little bit more straighter. Alternatively, you could use the brick texture. That's another alternative. So if we take this one out and we use the brick texture, you have something like this. Just go ahead and move that offset back, and then you just want to go ahead with the brick width. I just kind of pull that down a little bit. To be honest with you, I think this looks a little bit better. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this checkered texture right here. We can leave that for another time. So make sure that your essential tunnel base is as long as you would like it. So I'm just going to go S for scale and just elongate this just ever so slightly more. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the brick width again. I just kind of bring this inwards just ever so slightly to about there. So, you can go ahead and edit the mortar size as well, depending on what you would like for this piece. So, I usually go with 0.01 for the mortar. The brick width, you can go ahead and put that down a little bit. So, maybe we could go 0.05 for that one. And for the mortar itself, I mean, yeah, we kind of just adjusted that one, but it's fine. Right, okay. So, what I'm going to do, let's go to add. And go to bump texture. We're going to place this one here. So we have the brick texture at the top right here. Leave that alone. Leave it where it is. You can go ahead and add some colours on here if you want to. Totally up to you. We're going to go and take that. Let's go with Shift D. Bring this down. And you want to go for the second brick texture into the height of the bump. And then the bump into either the IOR or the roughness. Or you can do metallic depending on what you would like. Go ahead and increase the distance. Go ahead and increase the filter as well to your heart's desire. And you'll notice that this kind of gets a little bit bumpy here. If you can see that just there. I'm just going to go ahead and edit that a little bit more. Alright, so usually I would go with some gold tones for something like this. Just for a nice little background. So you want some nice yellows. Some peaches. Maybe some reds if you want a kind of fiery gold in there. And then we're going to go ahead and turn up that metallic. Just as such. Just slightly, not too much. Just going to go ahead and amend that just slightly. Just get that nice yellowy gold. Now if you want the exact same tone as I do, just type in the hex at the bottom right here. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this long corridor that we've made right here and duplicate it a bunch of times essentially. So let's go with Shift D. We'll make the roof right here. Doesn't matter if it's straight at the moment. Let's go with Shift D again. I'm going to make another one. Let's go for R for rotate at 90 degrees. We'll go with G at the side just to move this to the side, and then G up as well, so we've got this nice little equidistant cube. Let's go Shift D again, move this to the side, and then we'll go with the top right here. Let's go G and bring this down to about here. Alright, so at this point I'm going to go ahead and move my camera into the space of my shape so we can see what's going on. So let's go ahead and go to view, align camera to view. Now at this point you can go ahead and add in via pixel how big your screen is or how big your phone is or whatever like that. So basically if you wanted a computer screen, go ahead and research your computer screen via pixels of how big it is, and then go ahead and put that ascending data into the resolution under format. So I'm going to be making a phone background for my one. So 3088, and then I should have 1440 as such. Alright, so once you've got something like this, if you've got areas at the top, bottom, sides or anything, just go ahead and move this inwards into the piece. You kind of want this a little bit offset just to work with it. So at the moment, this is what it looks like. It's kind of like this really funky corridor going on. I kind of like this stuff. Now you'll notice that the box at the end right here is because the camera can't see that far. So if you go ahead and click on the camera itself, go to the data settings or the data settings, and go ahead and go to lens. You should have clip start and clip end at the bottom. So go to the clip end and then just go ahead and mosey that number up a little bit more. Now if it doesn't reach all the way to the end, what I would suggest, because you've done all the kind of programming on this part right here, let's go ahead and split this atom. I would go ahead and suggest take all of this, Shift D, everything that you've made, and then re-establish it on the back there. To be honest with you, you're probably not going to see the end anyway, so it should be fine. So you should have something like this. As for lighting, depends on where you want to put it. Totally up to you. But what I'm going to do now is let's go ahead to the regular mode so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go with a couple of UV spheres. So let's go with add mesh, UV sphere, right click shade smooth. We'll go with G, bring this up. Now at this point we're probably going to want to place a box over the camera as well, because we will get a reflection within this. So if we take this, just going to scale this up just a little bit more. Let's go with materials, new, and you want to change this from principal BSDF to metallic. We'll change this to a nice silver. Pull down that roughness. What we should have is this nice little sphere right here, just kind of chilling. We do need another light at the front, so I'm just going to go ahead and amend that real quick. Let's go into wireframe, find the light that's in the middle right here, and we can just go ahead and duplicate that over. So let's go Shift D to duplicate. And we can move this to the forward part of the box. So now we kind of have this nice little funky look, and this is why I said we might need to add something to the camera side of everything, because now we have this nice little cube going on in the middle. So let's go just regular render for the moment. And I'm going to take the boxes at the back right here and go with Shift D, move this forward to the back side of this as such. And I'm going to take this little ball that we've got right here and just go Shift D and move that relatively to the back there, so it kind of blocks the reflection a little bit better. So let's take this and press G, move this over. You can go ahead and have these as big or as small as you want to. Just go ahead and make random UV spheres everywhere. Scale them down. Pull them to the back. Pull them to the front. It's all up to you what you want to do. So I'm just going to move these. Let's go about here. G, move this forward. It's like completely randomized. Go with Shift D again. Make sure that it doesn't touch the outside of the box. But something of akin to this. Yo, you guys got like way more time than I do to do these, so yeah, it's totally up to you. But when you press render on this one, you should have something like this. Now, you can do depth of field if you want to, and you can add some more little blobs at the back, so it kind of pushes this one outwards a little bit. And you can see that we have a gap in the scenery right here, so we can go ahead and fix that. So if I just move this back, you can see that we have the gap right here in the scenery. So if we take this and just press G, move this across, when it'll let me, there we go. Alright, so we also have this problem of the big square at the back. So I mean, you could go ahead and make another passage, or you could just put a large UV sphere there if you wanted to. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to take these. Let's go ahead and just take the rest of the UV spheres, and I'm just going to randomize them just across this corridor right here. So we can go with Shift D, move this up just a little bit. So now we've kind of blocked that entrance off. And what I would suggest is depth of field as well. Just a little bit of depth of field on this would look really cool. And then maybe we could take this one right here, Shift D, move it up so we've got like a nice little foreground right there. And let's do the depth of field about midway this way. So if I go ahead and take this one, Shift D, move it across the corridor, press G, move this back so it's kind of got some nice little depth there. And you can either do this via a point or you can choose an object. So let's choose the camera. Go to your data section. Under depth of field, check the box. Use the little dropper at the side next to objects and just go ahead and choose, oops, wrong one. Go ahead and choose an object on there. My computer kind of just glitched then when I moved my mouse, so I clicked the wrong one. Hold on, Right, okay, let's choose this sphere right here. So, for depth of field, the higher the f-stop, the more everything will be in focus. The lower the f-stop even, the less it will be in focus. So if we just go ahead to third render right here, and I go and I heighten it, you notice nothing happens, but when I lower it, this all starts to blur right here. So it's a nice little effects that you can do. Makes it look a little bit more realistic. So, when it comes to rendering, it's a little bit pixelized at the moment, but you'll notice that it has this nice little depth of field going on. Now, for me personally, I would add a little bit more lighting in here. I think that the middle is just a little bit too dark, and we're not really getting that tone and texture that we need on the spheres. Let's see. Okay, so if I have this here, just leave that as is. We got a light right there, so let's go with Shift D. Mosey the sun down. I think we're going the wrong way there. Yeah, I need to go here. Okay, so if I put this one in here, this should look a little bit better, and once it depixelizes itself, I need to use that denoiser actually. I think we're on render for denoiser. Yeah. So denoise is right here if you need that. So yeah, we have the camera just around the outside here. That's this kind of yellowy white box right here. So that's what is going to be rendered within your scene. So depending on what your scene looks like, if you have this to one side or the other, I would say experiment with this. Press G, go back and forth, get the right depth of field for you as well. Yeah, I think that's it for this tutorial. If you guys enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye. Okay, welcome back to Blender. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make kind of a nifty kind of effect. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a plane. S for scale to scale this up just a little bit, and then I'm going to press G and bring the regular cube down right here. So what we're going to do is go to render. We'll switch out EV2 cycles. And I'm just going to go ahead and make this cube just a little bit bigger as well, so you guys can see what's going on. And what we'll do, we'll get rid of the default light as well, wherever that's disappeared to. There we are. Okay, so once we've got rid of the default light, what we're going to do, let's go ahead to the shading tab right here. We're going to go and change our render engine to cycles if we haven't already. So the material that we've got right here, let's go to material at the side, change this to an emission. We're going to go ahead and add in a noise texture. This is going to go into the colour right here. So now we've got all these nice little kind of bits going across, and what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and add in a colour ramp just right here. So you can have this any way that you want to. I'm going to do like kind of a blue, kind of an aqua, maybe like a pink, just to kind of offset it. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to take this white out, maybe, let's see. So we can kind of do something like that. Kind of increase the pink a little bit. Alright, so once we've got something like this, we can go ahead and increase the strength, decrease the strength, whatever you want to do with it. I'm going to go ahead, actually, and let's go ahead and change the, we're going to go to add, let's go to checker, texture right here, and I'm going to go and place this at the bottom. Now, if we go and change this, what we can actually do is we can go with color to the vector, we can have something like this, or we can go color to scale, totally up to you. Detail. So you kind of got this kind of weird cube thing going on, but to be honest with you, we could stick this in one of the volumes. So if we go with strength right here, we can see this on here, and if we switch the emission to this side, we kind of have this nice little glow. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this white. So checker texture to strength. And let's take the white on the checker and let's just bring that down just a little bit more. Totally up to you what point you want to bring it down. I would bring it all the way down. It kind of gives some a little bit more texture. Then you have this grey as well. You could also bring that down. And that will get rid of the light within the piece. So we can just bring that up just slightly. So, once we've got something like this, we can now see that we kind of have this nice little kind of ghost, kind of texture, cube kind of thing going on. Alright, and if you place this into displacement, nothing will happen, but volume is generally what we're going to be looking for. Can increase the roughness of this. Totally up to you what you want to do with it. You can go ahead and scale this down so you've got bigger cubes. Got something like that. Oops. Let's just go back on that one. Let's make sure this works when it decides to edit stuff. So the lower you go with the scale, the less cubes you're going to have. As such, and you can kind of do this kind of funky kind of look to everything where you've got all these little cubes on the inside. I'm just going to go ahead and scale this relatively down so you guys can see what's going on. There you go. Nice little effect. I think this is great for, say, like if you've got holograms or something like that. Totally cool. Or you just have these nice little cubes. It's also great for fillers in the background. Maybe where you don't want something as solid. Yeah, so if you guys like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making a background with some cityscapes. So what I'm going to do to begin with is, let's take the default cube right here, press S. We'll bring this up into a nice little building look, and we'll go to the render engine and change this out for cycles. We're going to go with G, bring this up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. So we're going to go edit to begin with, and what I will do is, let's go ahead and do that duplication first and foremost. So just have this right next to it. This one is going to become the windows and this one will become the wireframe. So we're going to go to edit mode. Let's go Control R and just scrolly this up just a little bit so we can make some little windows. And then we're going to go ahead and just scroll this a couple of times just to make some more windows in this direction, and then make some more windows in this direction. Now you can go ahead and subdivide this if you want to, but sometimes when you make windows like this, it's going to look a little bit samely, the same way that it looks like this. So what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and press A, and we'll do S for scale. Just bring this up a little bit just to widen out those windows. I'm just going to press G to bring this up. So, once we've got the other side as well, so once we've got this, we're going to place this underneath. This one is going to become the wireframe, so let's go with modifiers, add modifier, and then select the wireframe. This one will be the outside of the building. Click boundary and relative. You can click relative if you want to. Kind of give you that kind of shape, but if you want thicker lines, we've got something like this. You've also got thickness with this. You can make this as thick or as thin as you want. We'll go to material, we'll make this black, and then what we're going to do is take the object mode again. Let's go with G, bring this across, and all you need to do is just make this relatively the same size as the wireframe that you've just made, which in theory we should have done like these together, but it's fine. Alright, so once you've got something like this, you can have like a little top right there, because sometimes buildings do have a little bit of a floor at the top. Just press S for scale if you need to, just to bring that down a little bit, and G just to bring that up. Make sure that every side is covered. Just going to press S again. Alright, so once you've got something similar to this, we're going to go ahead and take the inner cube, go to materials, and we'll add, we'll minus the material off of this one. We'll go with plus. This one is going to be mirrored. So you can go ahead with a metallic if you want to, or you can go ahead and just make the mirror as is. So we'll go with, we'll turn up the metallic on the principal BSDF right here, turn down the roughness. And you can mess around with the IOR as well. So this is now giving us this nice little building that is reflective. We do need a plane for the bottom. So we can just do S for scale for plane. I'm going to go ahead and improve that mirror. So let's sit down that roughness all the way. And pull that metallic all the way up. So now we have this nice little mirror effect going on. So let's take this off the actual render. I'm going to take this building right here. I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate it out a couple of times. We can go ahead and scale this outwards. Just select both of them. Just kind of make it look like some sort of office building. I can just duplicate this. Just place it on the end right here. Make sure that they're not interacting, that maybe they have a little bit of space between them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the camera to the bottom of the plane right here. So to do this, we could go with 7 to heaven if you wanted to. And we're going to go with view, align view. We've got a viewpoint, sorry. You can go from top to bottom. So this is top. And then if we do bottom, it's like this. So we can go ahead and align the view to the camera. So we're going to go view, align camera to view. And with this, you can do one of two things. If you're making a desktop background, you can go ahead and put the pixels in for your desktop background, or if you're making a phone background like I am, place in by pixel your output for your phone screen. So mine is 1440 against 3088 as such. So this is what my phone's going to look like. Now, once we've got something like this, I'm just going to go ahead and split the atom real quick. We'll notice that the camera is underneath. We're going to go ahead and take the floor, press G, and bring this down. Or alternatively, you can bring the camera up to the floor. Totally up to you, but I think you will need to make your buildings just that little bit taller. So, something akin to this. And we'll notice that the buildings aren't really showing up in the background, so we're going to have to make these taller. So S for scale, bring these outwards just a little bit more. G to bring up. You're going to want this just off the edge of the camera right here, but I'm just going to go ahead and scale these upwards just ever so slightly. And then I'm going to press G to bring these back from the camera as well. Now you can go ahead and press G and bring the camera back so far. Alternatively, you could go ahead and you can press G and bring the flooring back as well. So totally up to you. And then I would press G and just move the camera kind of into focus on the buildings just ever so slightly. Now when we do this, we're going to go ahead and press with the Shift D, bring this building across to the opposite side. You can go ahead and alter the size of the building if you want to whatever preference you would like. Totally up to you. This is your scene. So it looks like you're on a street at the bottom and you're looking upwards. I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate that out again. And then maybe another one just at the side. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this one down just slightly so it's got that variation. And then I'm going to go ahead and place one just at the bottom right here. And maybe make this just a little bit taller so we can press S for scale. So a nice tall building on that side. And then Shift D and we can move one across onto the opposing side just here. So now we have this nice little cityscape going on. So when we render this, we should have something akin to this. Now, for me personally, I'm going to add some clouds in here so we can go with shading tab. We need to go to the middle right here, so objects, and you want to select world. we're going to go ahead and place in a noise texture just to make the clouds. We'll go with color to color, and you'll notice that when you render this you should get something like this. So we'll go ahead and add in a color ramp wherever it's gone. Come on. Okay, color ramp at the bottom right here. Excuse me. Alright, so we're going to go with plus. Add that nice little blue sky in there. And then we will go with like a yellow kind of orange kind of thing. Just kind of pull those clouds a little bit. And the more that you put these together, the more contrasted they should be in theory. So I'm going to go ahead and plus another yellow or orange, just a bit more for this. I'm going to take these three actually and move them across. So you're kind of going to want something that's almost like a sunset kind of vibe. So something like that, akin to. And then maybe we could pull this white just a bit more. Okay, so take down the roughness as well. For scale, you can scale these up, scale these down, totally up to you. Kind of get that nice little cloud base in there. I'm going to go ahead and actually move this across a little bit so we've got some more white clouds coming in. And then maybe put this just about here. So you've got a little bit of yellow coming in, but it's not too much. Maybe move that blue up just a little bit more, just to pull those clouds. And then take one of these yellows. Pull it a little bit more closer. And I'm going to take this white and just kind of maroon it off just a little bit more, if you want to call it that, marooning off. Let's go with scale, bring this up just ever so slightly, not too much. And then what I'm going to do is let's get some lighting in here. So we'll go back to layout. I believe that we already have a light in here, so let's take that one out. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a sun. So we want light, sun, G, move this across, and then we can make some shadows here. So we can go with alpha rotate to rotate the sun in. When we render this, it should be super bright. We want to go ahead with the data right here and just lower the exposure a little bit more. And you can go ahead and rotate this round to your heart's desire. I might actually remove that yellow, it's a little bit too much. I'm going to go ahead and take the windows as well and just dull these off a little bit. I think the mirror is just a little bit too much. So let's take that metallic down. As such. And then the shader as well for the backdrop. I'm going to get rid of this orange, I don't like it. And maybe get rid of some of that yellow as well. Just blend that in just slightly. And then I'm going to bring the black in, just to deepen some parts of the sky. And then our layout should be like this. So, I mean, you could do depth of field if you wanted to. Totally up to you. Just lower that down. Lower the f-stop. You don't really need an object to focus on this. Just kind of pull that back right there. I don't like that yellow. That yellow can go. That's horrible. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the flow right here. And take the camera back a little bit more. I think that would really benefit this. So we press G. Let's go ahead and scroll that back. And I think I'm going to take this building right here and make this taller. There we go. Okay, S for scale. Come on. There we go. Alright, so now you can see that the building kind of goes into the background right here. So all you need to do is go to the camera. I'll click the camera at least. Go to your data at the side, which is the camera icon, and then go to lens, clip start, clip end, and then just heighten the clip end to where you need it to be. So now we kind of have this nice little city scene coming through, this nice little kind of cloud based thing going on, and we can see the reflections of the rest of the buildings as well. I think this is kind of one of those kind of quirky projects, but I thought I'd show you how to make a nice little cityscape. You can go with the f-stop and just pull this up. I don't really think we're going to need depth of field for this, to be honest with you, unless you want it. I had a thought on something, then I can't remember what I was going to do. Oh, black and white. Yeah. If you want this in black and white, sometimes it's nice having just black and white in there. So, I mean, you could go outpost, I think it is, and yeah, image, you've got black and white right here. So when you render this, it should come out black and white. Yeah, so that's surreal, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be doing a little background with some yin and yang kind of themes to it. So what I'm going to do to begin with is let's go ahead and we'll place the camera just at the side right here. I'm going to go ahead and change EV to cycles. And we just want kind of like an odd kind of above angle for this one. I'm going to go ahead and delete the default cube as well, and then I will add in, let's go with the plane. S for scale, bring this up, and then we'll go ahead with view and align view, align camera to view. Now at this point you're going to need to type in the size of your backdrop. So if you've got a computer, maybe like an HD or maybe like a 4K or something like that. For me personally, I'm going to do this for a phone, so I'm going to go with output. You want to go via pixel for how big your screen is. If it's already, like the default's HD anyway, so you know, if you're just doing it for HD, it's fine. So this would be my phone screen size. I'm going to go ahead with G and just move the plane a little bit so that this sits and fits roughly in the middle. So I can go with S for scale and go ahead and mosey that on over, because I'm going to need to be able to see what I'm doing here. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and split this so you guys can see what's going on the camera right here, and then we can see what's going on back here. So I'm going to go ahead and add in we can go with UV sphere for this. Right click, shade smooth, G to bring this up, and then we can do S for scale, and essentially you're just going to make two little pebbles. You can go ahead with sculpting if you want to and just kind of pull out some vertices just to make it a little less smooth. But yeah, essentially we're just going to want two discs, two little rocks. So with this one, what I'm going to do is let's go with, we want a white one and we want a black one as well. So I'm going to go with white on this one. And we'll go to the shading tab. We're going to add some texture onto here. So let's go with a add Veroni texture right here. You can either go with metallic or roughness for this one. It's totally up to you, depending on how shiny you want your rocks. So we're going to go with scale right here. You can see that we kind of have this working. You can't really see it with the light, but this is essentially just try and give this some scratches. So we're going to go ahead with add. Let's go with bump texture. Right in the middle right here. So we're going to go color to height. And you want to go ahead and increase the distance, increase the filter. Just as such. So we've got these nice little cracks on the outside, if you guys can see that. So maybe even make this a little bit darker. Yeah. So there's a little crack. So you can go ahead and change this to Manhattan if you want to. So it's a little bit more randomized, and then just pull the scale a little bit more so it looks like it's just general wear and tear. So we'll take the bump and we'll take the Veroni right here. Let's go ahead and add in a noise texture, just to give this some texture on top. So we got the colour and the base colour. You'll notice now that we have all this kind of cloudy kind of look. Go ahead and pull this up, and then we want a colour ramp right here. So we'll go ahead and just pull this across. This one is the white one, so we're going to want to have the white upwards a little bit as well. I just kind of pull that back just ever so slightly, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in another bump. So we'll take these to the side, select the bump right here, Shift D, and just go ahead and select that in the middle, and then you want colour to height as we did prior. So you'll notice that this happens as well. So sometimes, I know that they've changed a few things with Blender as well. So we can go with, let's take the colour ramp. Press G, move this across, and then we'll go ahead and see whether the bump will sit and fit up in the side right here. For this side. So just wait for it to do its calculations. Should have something like this. And you want to go ahead and do a switcheroo on those tones. So you can go ahead and make that kind of like a grey if you want to. So white up there, and then we've got the black. Make this a little bit more grey. I'd say go ahead and experiment with the bump as well. You can put this in distance if you wanted to. See if that makes any difference. Oh, you know what? I'm going to get rid of that bump. We don't need it. It's fine. Alright, so nice little grey right here. We could go ahead and turn this down. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. As I said, versions of Blender do change, so sometimes you try something that works in one version and then you try something that works in another version and it doesn't quite work the same way. So now we have this nice little white pebble right here. I'm going to go ahead and just smush this in just a little bit more so it gives it a nice little pebble look. Let's go with Shift D, move this across. So now this one is going to be the black one. So we're going to have to duplicate the material, which is just in the middle right here, which looks like two pieces of paper next to an X. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. We'll call this the black one. And now we need to make the tone on this as black. So let's go ahead and move that down. You can go ahead and amend the Veroni if you want to. So if the strength is just a little bit too much on the black right there, you can go ahead and pull that back. So you've got that variance with the strength on the bump as such. Alright, so I think this is a little bit too shiny. So if you want to, you can go ahead and move that into metallic. And then just kind of adjust as needed. And then move your distance and move your filter. The strength, kind of moving up on there, would kind of work as well. Alright, so once we've got this, let's go to layout. We need to place these stones roughly equidistant from one another as such, and what I'm going to do is let's move this one down to here and let's move this one up to here. It's got a nice little yin and yang kind of thing going on. I may move my camera backwards just a little bit because I think those pebbles are a little bit too big, but that's fine. Let's take the background right here. Let's go to edit mode. You want to go right click, subdivide, right click, subdivide, right click, subdivide a bunch of times, as much as your computer can handle. Sometimes computers can't handle huge subdivisions, but that's fine. Let's go to sculpt mode. And essentially we're going to be making a nice little S around the outside. So I think there used to be a tool where you could just do like drag. Let's go with, I think what I'm going to go with, let's go with blob to begin with. Essentially you just want to make kind of like an S around this. Let's go 7.7. So almost like it's been dragged through the sand, or you've had something drag through the sand just go ahead and make these nice little lines coming around. It's like a Zen garden or whatever you call them. And then around the edges right here, what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and strengthen this a little bit and then up the size. And then we'll have little bumps of uneven sand. Just make sure you're not touching the lines that you've just made. So, just go ahead and put that in there. Just randomly, just take your time. So it looks like it's just been kind of drawn. So we're just coming over and done this. Alright, so once we have something akin to this, and don't forget the back as well. And the front. You can kind of make a little bit of a mound if you want to at the back. Just kind of make some little imperfections at the front. Just pull that in just a little bit more. Maybe a little bit of a mound at the side just to make some shadows. Something akin to that. Alright, so once you've got this, if we go back to the object mode and we go to render, you'll notice that we have something that looks like this. Now, what we can do with this is we can take the lighting, and I'm just going to go ahead and place a light on this side, which will be blue in tone. So we have something like this. You can pull that exposure up a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and let's go Shift D, move this to the opposing side or the diagonal even. So when this decides to move, there we go. Okay, so we have this nice little blue and blue. I'm going to change this one to red, just to kind of contrast that a little bit. Now you'll notice that the sand doesn't look very good at the moment. So what I'm going to do is click that little plane right there. Come on. Let's go with Shade Smooth. And then we'll go ahead into the shading tab again. And we're just going to make a sand effect. So let's go with New. We need the noise texture into the roughness. And what you're going to want to do is scale this up to the point where you've got this nice little sand coming through. So now you can't really see what's going on, but you can kind of see the textures there coming through. So you need a bump texture, so let's go ahead with bump in the middle. Color to height. Go ahead with your distance, pull that up. Go ahead with your filter, pull that up. Now you might need to change this to the metallic if it's too shiny. So if we put this in the metallic, you'll notice you get this kind of pattern, which is kind of like running across the top, stuff like that. So if we pull the scale upwards just a little bit more, so we've got that nice little grained sand. That's beautiful. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do, essentially, is let's go ahead and make this a texture color. So we're going to go with Shift D, bring this up. Your noise texture into your base color, add in your color ramp. Right here. You're going to go plus, and we're going to add in kind of like a nice little sand kind of texture, tone. Maybe just have some dark tones in there as well. Just move that across. Now sand isn't generally shiny, so you want to just go ahead and pull that roughness up too. Alright, so let's go back to layouts right here. I'm going to go ahead and do a depth of field. So let's go and select the camera right here. We want to go to data at the side. And we want the depth of field, the dropper coming in. Select your first pebble at the bottom, which should be the white pebble. And then I'm going to go ahead and place the f-stop down. So that will blur the background a little bit more, blur the foreground, and then we have the pebble right here in the middle. So, totally up to you whether you want to do this, but you can go back over your lines here if you want to. So if I go ahead and we'll go to sculpt mode and 7 to heaven. Come on. Okay, sculpt mode right there. Let's go 7 to heaven. Okay, so with these lines, size down, strength down a little bit more. And we could just kind of pull these upwards a little bit more. Just come round. You could zoom in a little bit more. Just define it a little bit more. So it might take you a while to do this, but I just want to show you that it looks a lot better if you, like, you know, you go back over certain things as well. Alright. Okay, so, yeah. I think that's about it, really. So, rendered out. It looks like this. I mean, you could go ahead and mess around with the lighting and put different lighting in there if you wanted to. Totally up to you. You could do it in black and white if you wanted to. If you wanted it in black and white and you were rendering it, go to the output and then select under output instead of RGBA, BW for black and white. And I think that's it. Yeah, so if you guys liked, please subscribe and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're making a desktop background. I'm going to go ahead and delete the default cube right here and then change the render engine to cycles. We're going to go ahead and add in a UV sphere, right click shade smooth right here. And we're going to make this almost like a kind of pastel kind of colour. So we're going to go with material right here, new. We'll go with a nice kind of, let's go with orange and blue for this one. So you want kind of take the metallic down and then put the roughness up when my computer allows me to do it. So you kind of want that nice little roughness up, not too shiny but not too bland as well. Alright, so once we've got something like this, you can go ahead and press Shift D, move this across. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this material right here. So to begin with, we'll call this material I think we were going with orange, weren't we? So I'll just call this OR for this one. So it's kind of like an orange. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this material. So it's where we see the little world symbol right here. You have an X and then you have what looks like two pieces of paper. Let's go and add a new material. We should have 001 on the end of it to confirm that this is now a new material. We're going to name this as blue, so I'll call this BL. And we'll go ahead and change this to a nice little pastel blue. So as well, when you copy the materials like this, they will keep the same parameters with the roughness and metallic, the alpha, the IOR, XYZ. So once we've got something like this, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and shrink some of these down and then make bigger ones and place them in random places. So you can keep them the same size if you want to, totally up to you. So if you want to go ahead and change those, we can go with Shift D, press S for scale. And we'll go ahead with this one. Shift D, press S for scale. Sounds like my dog's messing around somewhere. I'll find out what he's doing in a minute. Right, I'm going to go ahead with alpha rotate. Let's go with 90 degrees for this one. And then we'll do another alpha rotate. Smooth these up a little bit. Alpha rotate on this side and we'll do like 80 or something like that degrees. So it's just randomized. Take these two and we'll just separate these and then we'll go with Shift D. You can go ahead and move it to the side, rotate. We'll go 70 degrees, say. Take these, Shift D again. And then we'll go alpha rotate, and then 30 or something like that. So just take it off the axes. You can go ahead and move these up, randomize them. You can go ahead and move them individually, totally up to you. And then what I'm going to do is let's take the lighting out of here. Let's move the camera over to the side, and I'm going to take all of these that we've just made. Let's go Shift D, alpha rotate, and we'll rotate, excuse me, 180. Just to about here, somewhere like that. Make sure that they're not touching. So when you render this, you should have these little kind of spheres all in the middle. Alright, so when we take this, select everything, Shift D, move these across, move these up, move these down, rotate them, you know, do whatever you're doing with them. And then we're going to go ahead and position the camera. So once we've got something like this, you're going to want kind of a dense population on one side. Just to make this. So we'll go about here. So view, align camera to view. You can go ahead and zoom this in wherever you'd like, essentially. I've just seen a row of balls that kind of need to be moved. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here. This row of balls right here, we can go ahead and move these down, move these up, move these across, X, Y, Z, totally up to you, it's your world. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and I'll take one of these from in here, place this to the side. I just want to get some depth of field in here, so having little spheres around the outside would be great. My dog's definitely chewing something. I'm going to go investigate in a minute. Let's get this done real quick. Alright, so once you've got something like this, we've got the scene. I'm going to go ahead and split the atom so we can get some more balls in the back there. So, camera's facing that way. Let's take all these. Let's go with Shift D, move these back. Kind of get that depth of field in there thereafter. So let's go with Shift D, move these to the side, make sure nothing's really interacting. G, bring this forward. Shift D. Quarter baby, pineapples. Oh, pineapples. What are you doing? Oh, he's not got anything on him. So, hey. Oh gosh, hi. You coming in? You guys see him there? Yes, yes. Amazing. Have you been chewing something? I can hear you doing something downstairs. We're gonna get down. Yeah? I just need to do this last little bit, buddy. Okay? There we go. Alright, so once we've got something like this, let's go ahead and add in some lights. Let's get, yeah, I mean, you could do a sun with this if you wanted to, totally up to you. We could do alpha rotate, move this across, and then alpha rotate again, and just kind of give it that nice little shadow coming across. I hear you, buddy, just give me a minute. Alright, okie dokie. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a plane just at the back right here. We'll go S for scale, bring this up, and just place it underneath the parts we need it to be on. We kind of get these nice little funky shadows as well, which is really cool. Let's move this down. S for scale, bring this across. Now, if you wanted the effects that there was more off camera, you could go ahead and duplicate some of these and move them to the side. So, let's take a bunch of these just at the side of the camera right here. And then I'm going to go ahead with Shift D. And then move this to the side. He's got a sock. Wonderful.
Alright, so now we can see that there's many different balls and stuff. You'll notice that the background doesn't really go through that much. Let me get my words out today. Click the camera, go to the data section. And what I'm going to do is, let's go to clip end, clip start. And we'll move that just across. So just extend the clip end. I'm going to take the surface right here. We'll press G. We'll move this back. S for scale, just to mosey the sun out a little bit more. So we've got that nice little background going on. And then we'll do some depth of field. So with depth of field, click the camera. When it decides to load. Come on. Camera. Oh, there we go. Okay. Right, okay, so when we do depth of field, if you guys haven't watched any depth of field videos yet, it basically blurs the background and the foreground. So if we go to depth of field right here, use this dropper to select something. So I'm going to select this blue one. If you heighten the f-stop, everything will be in focus, and if you lower the f-stop, everything's going to blur as such. So depending on what you'd like and what your preference is, I'm going to go with maybe 0.4. It looks kind of cool with 0.4. You can go ahead and place that in. Alternatively as well, if there's not a lot of things that are basically in focus on your piece, you can go ahead and duplicate some of these out. So Shift D and move these forward and rotate just generally around into a nice little position that you like. So when you render this as well, you can go ahead and make this a mirror in the back for the plane, sorry. So you can go with new, you can go with metallic, turn this down, make it kind of like a mirror kind of theme going on. Totally up to you what you want to do. So that's generally how it is. I would say, personally, find that sun and just up the exposure a little bit. Something of a kin. Just about there. You don't want it too blown out, but you want that nice little contrast as well. And I may take the background and make that a black. So let's go with the plane at the back. Tone this down. There we go. So now we've got all these nice little balls right there. You can go ahead and extend this just to extend the reflection right there if you want to. Totally up to you. But yeah, that's surreal for today, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed seeing my dog. And he's got a sock. Right, okay, I'm going to go get the sock off my dog. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.